Turkish.
Hey there and welcome. Get ready because today we are tackling one of the absolute cornerstones of the Turkish language, how to say something is yours. It's all done with this really elegant system of suffixes that once you get the hang of it, is going to totally change how you see Turkish sentences. So let's just jump right in with a question. How would you say my car? Now, in English, it's two separate words, right? My car. But Turkish has a completely different and honestly way more efficient way of doing things. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with the main idea, then get into the nitty-gritty of how it works for words ending in vowels versus consonants. We'll also unlock two legendary Turkish grammar rules, ketchup and vowel drop, and then we'll practice putting it all together. Sound good? Let's do this. All right, first things first. How does Turkish actually show that something belongs to someone? Well, instead of using a separate word like my or your, it does something super clever. It attaches a special little ending, a suffix, right onto the noun itself. These little endings are called possessive suffixes. In Turkish, you'll hear them called İyelik Ekleri. Think of them as the engine that does all the work. So instead of saying two words for my house, you're actually going to change the word for house to mean my house. Now wait a minute, you might be thinking, Turkish does have words for my, your, and so on. And you're right, we've got benim for my, senin for your. But here's the kicker. A lot of the time, you don't even need them. They're really just for adding emphasis. The real magic, the real information, is happening on the noun. Let's see how that works. The whole system really boils down to one simple question. Does the word end in a vowel or a consonant? That single difference tells you exactly which set of endings to use. Let's start with the easy one first. So rule number one, this is what we do for any noun that ends in a vowel sound, like A, E, or O. Let's take the word araba, which means car. To say my car, you just add an M right at the end, arabam. Simple. For your car, you add an N, araban. Are you seeing the pattern here? The ending changes depending on who the owner is, from arabasi for his or her car, all the way to arabamas for our car. All the information is literally glued right onto the word itself. Okay, that was pretty straightforward, right? But what happens when a noun ends in a consonant, like the word for house, ev? Well, for these, we need to add a little vowel to the suffix to help it flow, and this is where we meet one of the most beautiful parts of the Turkish language, vowel harmony. Now, I know this chart might look a little intense, but trust me, the logic is actually really simple and beautiful. The vowel in the suffix just has to harmonize with the last vowel in the noun. It's all about making the word sound smooth and natural. It's kind of like music. Certain notes just sound good together. So you're just matching the family of sounds. If the word has an E or I, the suffix will have an I. It's just a matching game. Let's see this in action. It makes so much more sense. The word for pencil is kalem. What's the last vowel in that word? It's E, right? So, looking at our harmony rules, E pairs with I. That means my pencil becomes kalemim. Bu benim kalemim. This is my pencil. See? Let's do a couple more real quick to lock it in. The word for school is okul. The last vowel is U. So your school is senin okulun. The word for I is göz. The vowel is O. So his eye is onun gozu. You see? You just match the sound. It's that simple. All right, time for a rule that every Turkish learner comes to know and love, partly because it has such a fantastic name, the ketchup rule. This is a super important sound-changing rule, but I promise it's not as weird as it sounds. The official name is consonant mutation, or yumuşama in Turkish, which literally means softening. And that's exactly what it is. When a word ends in one of those hard consonants, P, ch, te, or k, and you add a suffix that starts with a vowel, that hard consonant softens to make it easier to say. So a P turns into a B, ch turns into J, te into D, and k into a soft Let's walk through the most famous example. We start with the word for book, which is kitap. It ends with that hard P sound. We want to say my book, so we need to add the suffix But wait, that suffix starts with a vowel, so that P can't stay. It has to soften into a B. And the final result? Kitabım, my book. Just try saying it. It flows so much better. Here are a couple more, lightning fast. The word for tree is ağaç. It ends in che. For your tree, it becomes ağacın. The che softens to a j. The word for sock is çorap. It ends in pe. For his sock, it becomes çorabı. The pe softens to a b. Once you start listening for this, you'll hear it everywhere. Okay, we are on the home stretch. One last rule to cover, and this one is more of a quirky exception you just have to get used to. It usually applies to two-syllable words, especially for things like body parts or cities. So here's the deal. Watch closely. When you add a possessive suffix to these special words, the second vowel in the word just vanishes. For example, the word for city is şehir. See that I in the middle? When we make it my city, poof, it's gone. It becomes şehrim. Same for burun, which means nose, it becomes burunun. And omuz, shoulder, becomes omzumuz. It's a little quirk to make the words easier to pronounce, and you'll pick it up with practice. Phew, okay, you made it. We've covered the main rules, what to do with vowels, what to do with consonants, and vowel harmony, the ketchup rule, and the vowel drop. Now it's your turn. Let's do a quick quiz to see if you've got it down. All right, first up, we have bizim, which you know means our, and the noun is araba, car. So how do you say our car? I'll give you a second to think about it. Did you get it? It's bizim arabamız. Fantastic! Yeah, because araba ends in a vowel, we just add the m's suffix for our. Simple as that. You got it! Okay, round 2. This one's a little trickier, so I'll give you a hint. Remember the K-chop rule. We have bizim again for our, and the word is kitab for book. How do we say our book? And the answer is bizim kitabımız. Yes, perfect. The word kitap ends in that hard P. But since we added a suffix starting with a vowel, a muz, that P had to soften into a B. That is the K-chap rule in action. Awesome job. And just like that, you have basically cracked the code for possession in Turkish. Seriously, from simple suffixes to vowel harmony and those quirky sound changes, you now have the keys to the kingdom. You have the fundamental building blocks to describe your world in a completely new way. So the only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to claim as yours?
Turkish